What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Kishshana, and we are back for another quick shot of vitamin K.
Hold on, y'all ready?
Okay, friends, so today I'm going to break down my 3 P's of the relationships that I think we sometimes forget in the workplace. And that is when relationships need to be professional, when they are personal, and then what slides into what's private. And so when I talk with managers about the relationships that they should be building with their team members that are healthy, oftentimes I'll have folks say to me, well, Kishshana, I don't want to get into people's personal business. I don't need to know anything about that. That's not my life. I just want to focus on the work. So y'all, that's really important, and work is important. Getting to goal is important. Outcomes are critical. And yet, people, your most important resource and asset, drive all of that work. So just like your favorite car, mine happens to be an X6. I get behind the wheels, I sit in the supple leather, I reach for the button that turns it on. It lights up. It talks to me, says, hey, Kish. It welcomes me in. I have a performance vehicle. I know how it rides. I know what to expect. And when I first received it, you like that, right? I opened up the owner's manual so I could understand how my vehicle worked. And I'm not comparing people to vehicles, except to say, if you want to have a high-performing team that is healthy, and at the basis of that health are good relationships, you gotta know how your people work. And so you gotta read the manual. So in order for you to read the manual, that means you have to open up the book of personal. And so the difference between personal and private is getting down into the details. So when I manage a team, I tend to know folks' personal stuff. I know their mamas, I know how many folks are in their families, their names, where they're from, hobbies, favorite foods, things they like, dreams, fears, what drives them, health concerns. I tend to learn a ton about my team. And if you want to know more on that, you should watch the video that I made on the 5 love languages at work and how I'm able to get folks to do that. But just because I know the personal side of what's happening with my team doesn't mean I get into the private business. So I don't need to know how many appointments you have with your GYN. I don't need to know all the fights you're having with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. And I don't need to know that this is your mother's 3rd marriage and what happens with Billy and Johnny and Don. But I do know essentially what makes up the fabric of the life that my team is living when they walk outside of our doors. And that allows me in real time to work with my team members on making decisions about perhaps what they can take on their plate at that time, because I know that they're stepping into a period where their grandmother has just gone to hospice. So maybe this is not the time to give them a particular project. Side note, I talk with them about this first. And maybe this is a time for another team member to step forward and to be able to take on that body of work until things have right-sided themselves in that other team member's life. It doesn't mean that I need to know what their life insurance plan is, but I do need to understand if that team member is the person in their family responsible for what happens at the time of that loved one's eventual passing. Y'all see how I did that? And so really understanding the personal aspects without getting down into the nitty-gritty allows you to make real-time decisions with your team members with an understanding, not subjectivity and making assumptions over here, so that you're able to both move relationships forward and move the business forward. If you've got a question about how I do that, or you want to drop in how you do that, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you soon for another quick shot of vitamin K.